Hello, Shadow Wizard Money Gang. How are we all doing today? My name is Notepad Anon, and I write games for fun. And today we're going to be writing about a game about wizards going to school. Yes, hello, Kaloo. So, did some work yesterday. Streaming a little bit earlier than I usually have been, but I wanted to stream even earlier. But I got in a conversation with a Polish man. It happens. As it does happen, I decided to have a conversation with a Polish man, and excuse me. Those usually end poorly for me, so yes. So, Schola Maleficarum, kind of see here. Hello, phone. We got a lot of this done yesterday, and I wrote all of this. This is learning the flow. This is a magic, kind of how everything's set up when it comes to discipline. And the idea of the flow rating. As you can kind of see here, a little bit of like, okay, hey, this is how you do it. You need to reduce your discipline below this rating, whatever this discipline rating is. It might seem a little inconsistent. That's fine. One of the big ideas is kind of by 5th year, you're able to cast a lot of these kind of spells pretty unconsciously. They're pretty easy to cast. But the thing is, you're not really going to be wanting to cast those, or you're going to be wanting to cast multiple ones at the same time. Did change the flow cost of these. I'm not entirely 100% sure on it yet. Might bump up the definitions a little bit to like 20, 25, 30. It's one of those things where I keep going back and forth on it. When it comes to costs, I might just need to eyeglass it sometimes. Just go 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. It happens. But if I scroll down here, we're going to be doing, as you kind of see here, I put in the idea of definitions. I want to give a little bit of a better description of each of these to kind of give people a better idea of what the hell it actually is. Which is going to kind of go into a little bit of the idea of like, hey, this is domains, which we're now going to talk about implements. And then finally, one of the final things we're going to be talking about is modifiers, which combined together is going to form how to actually do magic. The goal is to do this. Our example spell is right here. He wants to do a perceive illusion spell. He wants to scry on someone he doesn't like very much. And to do that perceive illusion spell, he's going to be, at the end of the day, taking whatever his compreno, you see here, because he wants to perceive it, and then he's going to take illusions, which is 15, to a total of 28. He needs to reduce this down by 23 points. How does he do it? Well, we're going to find out. Hello, Notepad, and I know when I first added you, I'd already bought the book. Funny enough, I found the book after the second or third link. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, no. Speaking about that. Speaking about that, let me bring this up here real fast just to make sure everything's good. Yeah. As you can kind of see here, I have actually purchased the right here. This is the Magius Start book. Auction ended. I bought it. This is mine. I have fully received the thing. It's kind of right now. It has to get shipped to its. It has to get shipped to its the warehouse. And then I'm able to kind of do all the things with there. Generally speaking, it's going to be about $10 to get it all shipped over to the US. But yes, I have found the Magius Start book. Is in my rough possession. Do I know how well it's going to look? No. That's one of the things I'm a little bit hesitant about. I'm a little bit worried about that it's not going to be perfect quality, or some of the pages might be a little bit fucked, but that's a risk I'm willing to take. But yes, we have found the Magius Start book, and we will, most likely what will occur is I will scan everything in, the best of my ability, and probably a combination of Sang and anyone else I could find is going to translate it. So, good job, team. I think it'll be kind of neat. A little bit of history. History in the making. Yes. So, implement. So, we're going to do. So weakening. We want to work. Actually, what am I. Let's see. Modifying the durability of a domain. Breaking a domain down. Destroying a domain, or destroying or erasing a domain. Technically, I don't know that, so you need to be like this. Observing or recording a domain. Observing or recording a domain. Feeling what the domain is. Feeling what the domain is. Understanding. Complete understanding. Understanding of the domain. Domain and its nature. Shifting, how do I, compelling the domain to do, compelling the domain to do something, forcefully dominating the, not forcefully dominating, what would be a good word, forcefully, taking, not nutting, nudging. I'm only give you my copy, but I would like to trade for something like a favor or something. You don't need to. I've already purchased the book. It will be far easier for me to just purchase the book. That's the nature of things. I don't need a second copy of Magius. Modify, changing, let's see, changing the What would be God, what do I want to do? Surface features. These. Actually, no. Changing the features. Changing the features of a domain. Repairing, reconstructing, or healing a domain to an original state. Creating, actually, not creation, what's a good one? Fuck. Creation, design, formation, forming, constructing, making, formation, Transmute is adjusting, changing the, actually changing the features, changing the state, changing the nature of a domain. Let me see, changing the features. No, fuck. How do I want to word modify? Fuck. What am I looking at? What am I? That's a hard one. Pretty much the idea is, if I want to, let's go back. I want to create something. I am creating light from nothingness. I want to heal light. I want to make sure that the light is brighter. I want to make sure that if there is no light, that there is now light. Pretty much you are repairing, you are reconstructing something that is broken. You are modifying it. What will you be doing? That kind of falls into the transmute, transform, transmorgify. I guess you could say that you are changing. There we go. Alleviating, adding, or suppressing features of it. So. We do this, we add something like this, and we put you right there. We put like an example. What would be a good domain to use? We will use. So do we even want modifying the journey? No, that should be fine. Hopefully that makes sense. Famous last words from one notepad and on. Okay, so got that. That means domains is pretty much just what you're going to be doing. Also make the implication that there are more esoteric ones that you can adopt, however. Implements. So implements. An implement is any tool process or scenario in which casting spells is easier for the wizard to an implement is any tool, process, or scenario in which casting spells is easier for the wizard. The most common when using an implement, it reduces the focus pool. It reduces the flow rating by a flat value. Let's see, allowing the wizard. When using an implement, it reduces the flow rating by a flat value, allowing the wizard to cast spells easier without conscious effort. Without expending more mental effort. These implements are powerful tools that enable a wizard to use magic unimpeded more regularly. Actually, implements have one notable downside. The wizard must possess them, and they must have training to use them. All wizards in their first year are trained in the use of their focus. A focus is different for every school. But one of the most common varieties of these are grimoires or wands. Focus is different from school, but one of the most common varieties of these. But common varieties of these are grimoires or wands. A wizard who has their grimoire or wand on them is readily able to use magic. Wizards who has their grimoire wand on them is readily able to use magic without much issue. However, should they lose their focus, they will be at a disadvantage. Focuses improve with the year. Focuses improve with the schooling the wizard receives. Creating a this is improve the schooling the wizard receives. The only However, as any school will teach you, focuses improve the schooling the wizard receives, gradually increasing the flow reduction by gradually increasing the flow reduction at the start of every. Because one of the ideas I want to kind of get across is like, yes, implements are useful and they make casting magic a lot easier. The problem is that they make casting magic a lot easier, that you're going to be seeing it more as a crutch. Above. Merge cell. We're going to do. Ay caramba. We want to do, if we increase it by, let's see, we do 4, actually we do 4, we increase it by 2 consistently, we do something like, we just have a linear growth. But if we want to end on, let's say 20, we want first year, maybe we do 5, increase it by 3. That would be 8, 11, 14, 17, 20, and then we do like 24. There we go. We do something like this. At your 6th year, you should be blasting magic pretty fucking regularly. Yo. What's your feelings on starter solo adventures teach new players? Lone Against the Flames of I Call it Cthulhu. I usually find them pretty interesting, pretty useful. Some people learn by that, some people don't. It kind of depends on the game, kind of depends on the person as well. Because one of the big things is like, some people learn differently. Some people are going to learn by doing. Some people are going to learn by just reading it. Some people are going to have to be in a game with other people. It kind of depends on the person. How's Murder and Morals class going? Pretty good. we're clicking along. It's right now we're going to hit the nitty-gritty math bullshit section of the game. And as such, I have a beer. Yeah, so to compensate math, I am just drinking. Don't worry, it's after 5. I can do this. Focus flow reduction. Foci are powerful tools to use for the wizard. However, by fourth year, most magic, most curriculum begins to drift away from using the focus for everything. To some, it's seen as a. Actually, you know what? If we want to represent, it's a crutch. Like, if we want to represent that it's a kind of a crutch, it's like, hey, we do that. To some, it's seen as a crutch for quote real magic, forcing the wizards in training, forcing the wizards to use creative solutions to alright. So, which is going to bring us to, if we go down here, some of these creative solutions involve other implements. One of the, and actually I want to use the most common. attuned to the wizard, or attuned to the wizard. Using someone else's wand. Using someone else's wand is useless to the wizard. While is useless to the wizard. Foci are okay. There we go. Foci are a powerful tool to use. Wizard tune. Foci to wizard. Some of these more creative solutions involve other implements. Understanding where. Implement. How do I want to word this? Yeah, reduce the flow rating by another flat amount. It's kind of again, it's an implement. The wizard may acquire. Actually, the wizard may acquire different items or gear in their adventures to. Let's see, may acquire different items and gear in their adventure to reduce the flow cost of certain domains or definitions. Keeping these close enable a wizard to more accurately. Enable a wizard to more accurately. More actively use magic. Oh, didn't mean to hit that. We do that. Implement and involve other implements. That's what I'm calling them. They are called implements. Enable wizard to actively use magic. Go back up here. Don't need you anymore. Do that. We do that. Implements. Go. No, that's enough. How do I want? Unless we put a second example in there. Unless we put Carlos and the Scrying Eye example. Or we do something like this. See, weak, strong. Fuck, what am I? Oh goodness. Let's see. So apparently, so hey, the new vampire game isn't dead or canceled. They're just being vague as hell about it, but they did give screenshots. At this point, who the fucking knows? Tell us it will be in September. They told us it would be September like 2 years ago. Howdy, how is my favorite Schizo RPG designer? Schizo. God help. God help us all. Like, just truly, there's no dreams anymore, no hope. Maybe the real joke was for the pain we found along the way. Emperor protects, I guess. Yeah, like right now it's just we gotta write magic. That's the entire goal with today, is just to write as much magic as possible. And I need to write kind of like how magic implements kind of work, and I'm like, I need a sliding scale of what would be a, like, where do I even fuck. I don't even know how to I don't even know how to word this possibly. Because it would be like, I need something like it's weak, and then it would be like strong, and like very strong, like something like I'm trying to find fucking words here, and it's just not clicking. Like, pretty much like the idea of like a weak implement is you have a match with when you're trying to use fire. Like, yeah, if you light a match and you're trying to use a fire spell, you're gonna have a better time of doing that fire spell than if you have something like there's a raging fucking inferno in front of you. I mean, if we do like consuming, if we say not average, but weak, blank, medium, powerful, consuming. I'm okay with saying powerful into consuming. But what do we put like right here? Weak. Between weak and average. Like, what's the fuck in the word? What am I actually looking for? I don't know what I'm trying to like word. I don't fucking know what I'm trying to say here. I know what I want here. Fuckwit, like fuckwit. And it's like I don't fucking know what I want, and it's kind of annoying. Like, competent, is that what? Size, complexity, design, personal attachment to the bot. Competent. The thing is, it's the value of the actual implement itself. Because if it's weak, you're gonna reduce something by like 3. Medium, we're probably gonna do something like consuming is gonna be 12, so we can do like 9 right there. Like, I guess unless we just reduce this, so it'd be like weak, medium, powerful, and consuming. I guess we could do that. Actually, I can do that. Weak implements are weak mental. Weak implements are rather mundane. Sources of the domain. A flashlight. Rather mundane source of the domain found in the natural world. Striking a match when using a fire spell. Striking a match when using a fire spell. Simple medicines when using a healing spell, or even a on the material when transmuting when using transmute. using transmutation. Then we go into medium implement. Medium implements actually. We can do something like this. Insert table 2 by 2. We put you. We make you like 1. We make you 1. Cool. Then we do medium implements. Medium implements are either are advanced mundane. Our advanced mundane are quote advanced mundane tools and resources. Having a how do I want to word this? It would be having a example domain cultivating a yeah, okay. What would you do? Yeah, there we go. Terranium. That's what it is. Terrarium. There we go. Bottle terrariums. Bottle terrarium. Cultivating a bottle terrarium. For a herbum. For an herbum manipulation spell. Implements. A bright flashlight, a bright a high lumen flashlight, a flashlight for a light, when using the light domain for a manipulation spell, or even in-depth knowledge, or even what would be another item, or even a animus. Light, earth, soil, herbum, ichor, illusions, lights. One that I can see over here, darkness, maybe. What would be a good one for? Oh, air. I'm trying to think of like what would be like an advanced. I'm trying to think of like an advanced like thing. Oh, we got a Manly co-host. Yes, hello Manly. Welcome back, Manly. My ever loyal familiar. Oh boy. Hey, no plan. When do you add? When can I add an ACOG on my staff? Get a +2 accuracy, sprinkle dragon snot for +3 fire damage to all my spells. Free to meow and scratch up the hardwood. Pretty much like the idea of what I want for like medium implements are like, these are things that you can find, you can get that are valuable when you're trying to do something in this sphere, but they are in like specifically a thing tied to it. That's kind of the idea, like laser encyclopedia. Actually, I want to be specific. Not an encyclopedia necessarily. Maybe what am I looking for here? A laser encyclopedia. Actually, I know. For Memorum spell, even the proper aroma, even proper aromas. It's kind of like, hey, I've set the time, set the space, set the mood real well, and now it's like you're a little bit more comfortable in the current situation for manipulation. Like, I'm specifically going in here to manipulate or do something. Not necessarily in a bad way, but just kind of like, I am doing something for the purpose of screwing with you a little bit. Powerful implements are distinctly magical in nature, or tied to monsters, creatures, and mythical beings. Dragon scales make for fine fire implements. Dragon scales make for fine fire implements. Ogre snot has distinctive healing properties. And even pixie dust, while being a narcotic, does assist in opening their mind. Ah, yes, pixie dust, the most powerful of narcotics. Finally, consuming implements are dangerous magical objects. That students really should not possess. Under any circumstances. Unless supervised heavily. That would be a good one. Ailman's hourglass is to any chrono magician, to any in Ailman's hourglass is valuable to any chrono magician. Any chrono is invaluable to any chrono magician. To any chrono magician, while a homunculus's eye. While while a false homunculi's eye can perceive just about perceive anything, it's set on. However, consuming implements always come with a cost, notably increasing the always come with a cost. Notably making not only melms. Finally, consuming implements are dangerous magical objects. Actually, want to be particular about things. 3. There we go. Wait, 20. Yeah, okay. Focusing implements, elements, time, place, and situation. Time, place, and situation. Hey. Magic text, shards of dead gods. Yeah, it's nothing too exciting there, but the kind of like the idea behind actually what I should, I'm gonna put that note in here. One notable downside of using implements such as these, unlike a focus, is that there is an equal and opposite reaction toward certain spells when using such an implement. A flashlight will make darkness spells harder to control. Start up here. Harder to control, for example, while Ailman's hourglass makes it far more difficult to manage memorum spells due to the chronological shifting of senses. Memorum spells due to the chronological shifting of senses. Whenever an implement is used with an opposing spell, they will increase the flow rate. They will increase the flow rating by the amount. Pretty much, if you have a flashlight on and you're like, I want to cast a darkness spell, you're like, okay, you're gonna cast a darkness spell. It ain't gonna go very well, because like, I am holding a light, I shouldn't do that. However, it's like, I'm holding a light, I want to cast darkness, click the light off, and suddenly it's a hell of a lot easier. That's simple things. But then you have things like, hey, if you have an Ailman's hourglass, is not only do you have pretty good mastery of time at that current state, you're in a weird situation where it's just a hell of a lot more expensive to do things. It's harder for you to kind of set yourself up in your memory in certain cases, especially other people's memories, because things are flowing so quick. things are flowing in different directions at the same time. You don't know what's real, and it's hard. If you don't know what's real, it's very hard for other people to know what's real. Mm. Mm. Mm-mm-mm. Goodness. There are people posting horses. Time, place, and situation. Another powerful, another type of implement is something is more difficult to control. More difficult to control. Time, place, and situation. Time, place, and situation. When using magic, places of power are always useful to actually, no, how do I want to work? The magical flow of the world is like a river, constantly moving, breaking down, and reforming. Constantly breaking down, moving, and reforming. Is like a river. Different places. What? Oh. But in any river there are dams as well. There's dams as well as streams feeding it. Whenever a wizard is attempting a magical spell, they will they can attempt to invoke the use of time, place, or situation. Time is fairly evident. Being in the middle of the night will be more beneficial when masking movements with spells. While being in broad daylight will encourage the plants to frolic more freely. We'll encourage plants to frolic freely. Place is where the spell is being cast, as well as where the spell is being cast. Almost every pre-war school is built upon a ley line. Built upon intersections of ley lines, allowing magic to flow freely. Let's see. Most post-war and modern schools cannot enjoy this luxury. But can. Let's. Using a using a spell of darkness in a hidden cell, using a spell of darkness in a hidden cell, or memorum in a place of learning, or actually using a spell to break binds in a prison cell, or actually using a spell to bind a rival in a prison cell. Bind a rival in a prison cell. And plants in a greenhouse. In its habitat, or by a river will all be easier to manage. Finally, situation. Magic reacts to the wizard more than anything. If a wizard is under pressure, finally, let's see. Certain events and problems will erupt, allowing the wizard to tap into their magic easier and ride the flow. These can be as simple as the most common situation is during class under the tutelage of a professor, under the tutelage of a teacher. Wizards have an easier time casting spells that would normally, wizards have an easier time casting spells that would normally trouble them. Being in a calm, relaxed place without pressure will reduce the difficulty of casting exponentially. Having hours to prepare a spell will also make the flow more direct and able to be controlled. Rarely will wizards have the luxury of all of it. So it's kind of the situation of, if you're in a good place, you're going to be doing fine. And there's going to be moments like, yes, this is the ideal place to Have you heard of the household RPG? I've not heard of the household TRPG before. It might exist in I don't know. Never heard of it. Or easier to bind a rival in a prison cell in Detroit. Yeah, no, it's kind of one of those ideas, like, if you were in the right time, place, or situation, life is going to get a lot simpler for you. If it's not that perfect condition, or it's kind of like in a bad situation, it's going to be a lot harder. Being bound in a prison cell, it's going to be a lot harder for you to actually break out of your binds. Because you're just in the wrong situation. And like, Magic's like, no, what are you doing? That's dumb. Sorry, asshole. Which we're going to actually add. Not dwindling. It would be dwindling. Perfected. Perfected conditions, ideal conditions, average conditions. There we go. Hot dog, hot diggity dog. So like traditional implements, we're gonna make these a little bit more aggressive, but they're gonna be a little bit harder to get, if that makes sense. Like, yeah, you have to be in the ideal situation to get this, and that's maybe not going to be. Actually, no, we do 3, 4, 8, 12, 16 here, but we do 3, 6, 9, 12. Switch that around. Like traditional implements, time, place, and situation. Situation may come to fight the wizard as well. Casting a light at midnight. At midnight in an open field. Open field may be a little bit more complicated. A little bit more complicated than anything. However, these must be in direct opposition to the current situation, more than having an improper implement. You might let's see. There we go. And what I'm gonna do, put a side note right here. In simple terms, only when it's dramatically appropriate. Only when it's dramatically appropriate. Casting a fire at midnight, in the middle of winter, in an open field, maybe a little bit more complicated than anything. However, these must be in opposition to the current situation, more than having an only when dramatically appropriate, or time, place, situation. So we want to do Carlos and the Scrying Eye 2. Carlos and the Scrying Eye 2. So, Carlos has his wand. reducing the flow rating by five. Flow rating by 5. Flow rating by 5. He managed to snag some of Malphus's. He managed to find one of Malphus's notes. One of Malphus's notes. Actually, poorly written notes as a medium implement. -8. While he is taking his time, the school actively wards again. While he is taking his time, the dorms where he is casting this spell does have scrying wards. It does have scrying wards +6, making it more difficult for the spell to register. His total flow rating is now 28 minus 5 minus 8 minus 8 plus 6 for a total of, that would be 23 15 21. This is now 25 -5 -8 plus 6 21. Still fairly high. Go. Which does bring me down to modifier. Go, let's talk about modifiers. Oh, Jesus. Oh, looks like Critical Role is on fire again. Oh boy, I sure do love Critical Role when Critical Role is on fire. It's so much fun. Yeah, this one. Yeah. Brian W. Foster and his now ex-boyfriend. Yeah. Police issued emergency protective order due to Foster having attempted to extort $150,000. His verbal abuse, very unhinged mind, additive use of narcotics, several other reasons. Garroted several airsoft guns. Yeah, this is Brian W. Foster. Let's see. Tox Machina, what have you done? What's his? He was Kingston LaForge, Liam Las Vegas, and Brian from Critical Role and the Club of Misfits. What the fuck is Critical Role in the Club of Misfits? That's special. Cool. Schmogwart students. It's funny. It's funny. Ha ha ha. Hee hee hee. Oh, it's a D&D one-shot. It's a D&D one-shot, everybody. With that's magic. Ha ha ha. Hee hee hee. Yeah, so moving on from personal, Brian W. Foster. What have you been doing, Brian W. Foster? Let's take a look. He was a writer on Talks Machina, The Undead Wood, and Between the Sheets. Okay. Let's see. Actor. He was an actor in Narrative Telephone, Travis Willingham's Yeehaw Game Ranch, just Critical Role some more, and looks like he was mostly a writer on this. That's what he did. He was the writer for that show. Oh boy, what's going on there? Oh god. What happened now? Pretty much he just apparently he beat the shit out of his girlfriend. This man just beat the shit out of his girlfriend, who is Ashley Johnson. If we go to Ashley Johnson, it's this girl. She's done things. Voice and motion capture. She was the voice and motion capture of Ellie in The Last of Us and The Last of Us Part 2. And Last of Us Left Behind. And The Last of Us 2. She was the voice of Gretchen from Recess, Tara from Teen Titans Go. She was Gwen Tennyson. She was in Tales of the Borderlands. She's got a few BAFTAs, and she was on Critical Role, I think, or something. Yeah, she's this person. She's Pike Trickfoot, Yasha Njordan, and now Farron Calloway. Farron Calloway. Farron Fawn. Yes, I forgot. She's a fawn. Farron. So this is the early one. This is her at level 3, and this is her at level 9. Cool. That's neat. She's been in this, I guess. Ashley, who have you played? You've I'm trying to. She was also this person. She was in Candela Obscura, because everything comes full circle. So, good job, Critical Role. Maybe next time you'll stop all the rampant drug abuse. Oh man, Recess, what a great show. I can hear the reading and screaming over the Critical Role fandom. I wonder if a friend of mine who's early in the Critical Role knows already. I remember hearing about this a little bit. Some kind of behind the sheets, was that some kind of ERP thing? No, it was like you know, in some of those big shows, like they have like the little like after talk or whatever, like I think Talking Dead was one. That's what my mom always watched. Like they would just talk about what happened on that episode. That's what that was. And that was like the one-on-one interview segment was Between the Sheets, I guess. I wonder if a friend like Fawn, man, why does everyone always have to play the weirdest critters in the book? Because that's what people fucking want. Like nobody wants to play Human McMahon because that's not interesting. Human McMahon doesn't do many things. Ugh. Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. From what I know about Critical Role, let me see if I can do if I remember correctly, there is Critical Role 1, that's the Vox Machina. That's 115 fucking episodes, mind you. Then there was the Mighty Nine. Anytime I hear about people talk about the Mighty Nine, it's never a good, like, nice thing, if that makes sense. Like, I never hear anyone say, like, oh boy, I sure do love Mighty Nine, and then I've heard absolutely nobody say anything positive about the third season. This is where they had this stupid motherfucker in. Like, literally the only thing I've ever heard about the Mighty, Mighty Nine. Because I remember the gimmick with this one is that they weren't supposed to be like, oh, we're not heroes. We're not heroes. But they just were, but they were just really bad at doing literally anything. If I recall correctly, this is just my vague memories of what was going on. Where was it? Okay, so where's it? This is just me visiting the fucking CR threads every now and again on TG. So that was Sorcerer Person no one gave a shit about. That was like I don't know what the fuck that was. Apparently this was like the protagonist. Like he just did everything. That, like, there was the weird thing where it was like someone was playing a cleric and that was their patron. Like a player character was their patron and it was a fucking furbolg that looked like a retarded animal. It was like, oh Jesus. Then her right there. I can't, I'm kind of like circling her. She was apparently the least optimized paladin in existence. Like just a terribly designed character that they had to go out of their way to fix because it was just bad, if I'm remembering it correctly. This was all I know is that they were a cleric, but not the cleric of this person. And they were a really stupid cleric, and they used like, haha, Lamau, I'm so random. And this was not. Now I'm going to talk about not for a second. You have no idea, because they did this. It was like, oh, it's a weird little goblin creature. All right, cool, little goblin creature. But I'm going to hit, there's a secret. They changed not the little goblin creature to not the halfling. Because that was like the thing with it, is that it's like, oh, she's secretly always was a halfling. And the ugliest looking motherfucker I've ever seen. It was like, oh no. Oh no. Yeah, I wasn't, yeah, I never hear anyone talk positively about the second season. First season, everyone's like, it's the greatest thing available. Stretch, okay, let's look. Technically, Mighty Nine is the most popular one and the one that is the scubtastic because the 4chan loves a bitch about it. Human McMahon only built civilization, built aqueducts and pyramids and the fucking Great Wall. But besides what Human McMahon did was noteworthy versus us. Very special creatures which aren't an over-exaggerated single human trait. Why? She was cursed into a goblin, man. Yeah, I don't really follow CR. I have never watched Critical Role. I've never, like, cared to watch Critical Role. And it's really odd. It's like, I've just never had any, like, I've never had any enthusiasm to watch it. It's not like it's 5. No, just like I have no like draw to be like, you know what? I think I'm gonna watch Critical Role. No. I have no desire to watch Critical fucking Role. Who's pinging me? Shadow Wizard Money Gang, it seems. See, what I need to do is I need to get someone to explain to me the entire plot of all 3 seasons of Critical Role. It could be your favorite system, and I think it would still be hard to watch. Yeah, pretty much. Like, that's the funny thing. It's like, it is very difficult. I don't think I would just enjoy watching it. I was thinking like, oh, okay, there has to be something redeemable. I'm like, not really. I can't really find any reason to... I have no idea why people are like, oh my god, they're so talented. They're amazing actors. And I'm like, they are D-listers at best. Let's not kid ourselves here. They aren't like major actors, they're voice actors. Like, I don't get why. I don't get how. It's I am pained. Mm. Well, I think here's the thing. I think Matt might be a good DM. I think Matt may be a good DM. But the problem is, Matt's not allowed to DM anymore. He's allowed to play the role of the narrator of a television show. That's just one thing you gotta kind of understand. Like, that is Matt's job now. It's not to play a... It's like, you kind of get what I mean? Like, it's not really to play like, you're a DM, you're fucking around with your friends and having fun. It's... his job is to be the narrator of a television show, effectively, and that's his job. And everything's planned out already. It's all the similar beats and everything. You can pretend to know that everyone knows what's going to go on. It's not too much of an exaggeration. So, modifiers. Alright, see ya, bro. See ya, brother. Modifiers. I think he might actually shine if he did it like a scrub tier basic bitch 5e actual play with a few guys and just doing it for shits and giggles. No. And want to know why? Because the second that guy is in front of a camera, I bet he would automatically shift into a different form. There is Matt. I'm gonna say that there's Matt, guy who puts his pants on the exact same way we do, who goes about his daily life the exact same thing we do, and then there's Matt Mercer, expert GM for Critical Role, and the millisecond he gets on camera, you're gonna shift back into that. And I think that's just kind of something when it comes to like actors, especially how long it is there. It's like anything he does must automatically be prefaced by, is this Matt or is this Matthew Mercer? Matt Mercer kind of thing. Modifiers act as a method for the... Modifiers act as a method for the wizard to augment, shift, or change the nature of the spell to increase or decrease the flow value of different effects. I think you got the being the wholesome part Keanu Reeves, but in camera as an actor rather than what Keanu is, which is just a nice guy. Yeah, it's like, it's one of those things is, if you went to a bar with Mr. Mercer, what would he be like? Just no cameras, no bullshit, just a beer in one hand and a laugh in the other. I don't know. The thing is, I don't think he wants anyone to know either, because that's an incredibly personal thing for a lot of people. The flow value of different effects increase the flow for different. spells. Each modifier adds something to the that adds something to the spell that allows close friends and wife. Yeah, pretty much. Each modifier adds something to the spell that allows them to. You got to think, a lot of his close friends and wife are also voice actors or people in that same sphere who understand there's a split, and I think they would all respect that pretty actively. Each modifier adds something to the spell that allows them to change the effect target. Actually, no, not the effect. Change the tangent. Are you this way IRL? Is this your camera mode? Notepad behind the camera is actually fairly quiet. Like, this is always a funny thing. Everyone's just like, yeah, let's do a meetup. Yeah, let's just hang out and have fun. Like, I don't think people quite understand. Like, I'm just an immensely quiet person, and I just don't. Sometimes I will just kind of like, yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. I'm just, I have said this before. I'm a very quiet person. I put on the schizophrenia, you know, my mask of schizophrenia because I am literally Patrick Bateman, but I try to keep myself pretty reserved as a person, and I strive to be pretty what I like to call offensively normal. I don't try to like reveal my power level to people. I don't try to impose a lot of things. I am actually a very calm person and very relaxed. I don't even really talk this much, and you'll probably notice it when, you know, when I'm playing games, playing games, or when I am, you know, writing and stuff, where I'll get very quiet. Where that's just me focusing in on things, and I have gone entire days saying 3 words. Because I just don't have anything to say. I just don't talk to anybody. And I'm like, all right, cool. I just don't say anything. I'm like, yeah, hi. And like, that'll be like the exact everything I say. But like I've told a lot of people, I don't think people want to know me. They don't want to see the man behind the notepad. They want to see Notepad and on. And I think it was Pippa Pipkin. I think she actually did a pretty decent note about that. That's one of the reasons I actually kind of like her. She was very much like, people come to me to see, what was it? People come to see the Pink Rabbit act like a crazy person. They don't want to see the Pink Rabbit act normal. And it's like, yeah, that's kind of the point. You guys want to see me in a fucking wizard hat playing gotchi moochie games. You fuckers want to see me do something silly every time. That's the point. That's the grand and intoxicating innocence. And I mean, that's to be expected. I mean, come on. I'm not surprised by that. I mean, per ethical, she is schizo both on and off camera. From what I've gathered, like, here's the thing with Pippa. Here's the fascinating thing with Pippa. I could talk about Pippa a little bit. I know Pippa. I'm not gonna say like I know her name, I know exactly who she is, but I've met someone like her before. I've met a lot of people like her before. I know exactly how she is. And if I were to find her at a fucking convention, I would be like, you're Pippa Pipkin. You're Pippa. Because I know exactly how you are. I know exactly how you think. Because I had to deal with people like her a lot when I was younger. And there's nothing wrong with it. I got nothing against people like that. Personally, I think she does play up the, I think she plays up the schizo rants. That's the thing. I think she plays up the schizo rants a little bit. And there's two reasons I know this. Is one, she hasn't been shit canned, which, mind you, getting shit canned. The way she controls the way she speaks is actually very calculated. If you do watch Pippa, it is very interesting because she will say things that are just nutty enough, just crazy enough, where you're like, okay, she's based. She's a based, schizo wife based. But then you really look at it, and then you like turn around and you're like, everything she said is actually pretty normal if you understand that it's an act. If you understand that that is a... I don't think she's countryside, but I think she is... If I were to be a betting man, this is me, this is no pat on betting man. She's mid-20s, mid to late 20s. She grew up not with a lot of money, not an extensive amount of money. And I know she's talked about like where she's lived before. And I'm like, okay, so she knew meth heads. I can guarantee you, if you were to talk to her about meth heads, she would definitely know what you're talking about. I'm not saying she is a meth head, but she grew up around people who were like that. I can guarantee you, because that is how that shit goes. So how much of that schizoacted Nurgle ways are real and not acted? I would say about 50-50. It's, if you go under the idea that Pippa's just a deep south, effectively from the middle of fuck all nowhere, I can guarantee you she's lived probably a good chunk of her life interacting with 4chan and schizophrenics on the internet for her sole communication. Did she say that people in her family are fairly... Yeah, she's from the South. Like, the thing is, like, she is from the South. And she said that before. I believe it's Texas. I believe she's from Texas, or she's from that area. She's said that before. I remember her talking about it. Not Cajun South. Yeah. Middle of nowhere South. Yeah, exactly. I know exactly how she is. She damn well knows there's the trailer park in town. If you go to the trailer park in town, you will find a meth head there. Everybody knew. Everyone knows everybody in those cities. Everyone knows each other in those towns. And it's like, oh, well, I really opened my eyes to, you know, all that stuff. It's like, yeah, if you have never lived in anything other than those small towns, it is very insular. It's very, we don't give a shit about other things. And if you are one of those people who do have tastes that aren't considered normal, you are ostracized pretty quickly. You're an other. I can guarantee you she went through a vast majority of her life fucking putting the mask on, of pretending to be like what everyone else liked, kind of going with the flow. She probably got found out in high school years, that'd be my bet, or like she got found out pretty early, and she was always, she was the other girl. Guarantee you that. She was the girl who liked the anime stuff. We don't understand what that anime stuff is. We know she's weird. She's different. It's different. I grew up in a small town. I knew exactly what she was talking about with some of those. And it's interesting because she would probably understand what I like to refer to as the small town horror. And you know, usually when people talk about horror, they talk about either like really big cities, or they talk about like, oh, it's a spooky town like Silent Hill or whatever. Like, I've told this story before, but one of the most terrifying moments to me in small town horror, one of the most terrifying moments to me was, it was really weird, not to like scary, but like, what the fuck? I needed a new set of headphones. So we were gonna go down to the one to the one store in town that would sell headphones. It was one of the big stores. We got in the car. We drove half a block. We got stopped. Somebody came out of there, literally was sitting out by on the stoop, came up to our car and started talking. And they're like, hey, what you doing? Oh, we're going to go down to the store. We need to get some stuff. And I'm like, I need to get some new headphones. And they're like, cool. By the time we got to the store, not even 10 minutes, they had called the store owner. And they say, hey, this kid's looking for some headphones. And everyone knew at the store that I was looking for headphones. And I was looking at the headphones, and they're like, oh, well, we got a new pair, and would you like to take a look at them? I'm like, yeah. And I went over there, I looked at it, I'm like, this isn't quite right. Like, this not really my style. They're like, oh, okay. And by the time I left and got home, somebody had already, pretty much people already knew that I didn't buy the headphones. People already knew. Be like, yeah. Why the hell did he call the store? Why did he talk to you? What? That is, like, you gotta remember, like, this is an important thing to remember, Lubu, is they were related to somebody at the store who talked to their boss, who talked to another person, who called another person, who knew another person, who knew another person, who knew another person, who did this, who did that, who did this, who did that. Like, one thing happens and everyone in town will find out. Small town, big hells, and you also have things like you had clans there. There was like legit, fully like arranged marriages. Everyone knew that was going to happen. Like everyone knew these two people were going to get married. Clans, not like the Ku Klux Klan, more in like the more along the line of sea clans. You had families that did not like one another. You had families that we are diametrically opposed to this other group. We do not like this family or anyone related to that family. And you even had fucking like Romeo and Juliet situations where people weren't getting married when they shouldn't have gotten married. It's just like, that person is from the wrong family. And the thing is, when we got there, we were already part of one of the clans, because we were related to another group there, and another family despised them. They despised us because we just weren't right. Is the whole thing about each family being able to trace their lineage back to the founding father thing a cliche? Some cases it is, but like to them, they've lived there. Their father lived there, their grandfather lived there, their great-grandfather lived there, and you could trace things back a ways. That was always like the weird thing with our family is we can trace going directly backwards all the way to a small island in North Germany. Let me I'll pull it up on Google Maps just to give you guys an idea. I know exactly which island it is. I can never remember the name of it. It is... We're pretty much like, the thing is like we're in like one of these like very one of the northern islands of Germany. We've traced our family line all the way back there, and we could probably go about 3 different generations back. From the island in Germany. And mind you, that's like one of those things, like we can trace people who lived in that town a lot earlier and who was marrying who, and like, oh well, your ex's brother and that's your sister, and that's your uncle, and that's your aunt, kind of thing. It's very spooky. Like, it's funny to joke about it, but it's kind of spooky in some aspects. It's all I know was Black Irish, whatever the fuck that means, or exiled forced to Ireland, lit in the colonies. Black Irish means potato famine. You're a potato famine Irishman. Half my family's Black Irish. It's like the troubles. Yeah, it's the real small towns. You don't really have. You do have the advantage of, like, again, you have family everywhere, and you do have some things planned out for you. But to give you an idea, I had a graduating class of 60. We had 60 people in our graduating class. I know for a fact, 3 people left the state. 3, and I'm one of them. 1 went to Milwaukee, I believe, and 1 went to Minnesota. That's the to give you an idea. It was Minnesota, and 1 went to Texas. That's what it was. Texas and Minnesota. So what was the name of the anti-Irish sentiment at the time? Irish. They were just the fucking Irish. Because you gotta remember, there are more Irish people living in Boston than Ireland. Like, yeah, I can muse about small towns for a while. Like, it's And I've had people be like, "Oh man, small town living is so great." No, it sucks. You don't realize living in a small town is great and all if you are completely in the know and you actually like everyone you deal with. If you don't like people you deal with, you hate you. It's awful. Let's see, each modifier adds something to the spell that allows them to change the target. Change the flow rating of these. These will all change the flow rating of the. Also larger next to a city, but outside it in small town due to enjoying food variety. Yeah, you get used to eating at like the one place. So how do I want? I knew this was going to happen. That's the funny bit. Like, I damn well knew this was going to happen. And doing this is going to be awful. How do I even want to... What do I want to change? We want to actually do a type of target. That's going to be important. Type of target. Type of target. Difficulty to cast. Which is going to be like, normally if you can get it under, you don't need to cast anything. You don't need to actually roll the dice at all. That's the big thing. You don't need to. Difficulty to cast, which is going to be type of target, difficulty to cast. Actually, what in the heart? Actually, deep sea voyages. Permanency. Permanency. Let's do maybe Guy probably has some of the most updated version of Magic. I actually know it'd probably be Lips Judgment. Type of target, cast, permanency. God, it's fucking. Ugh, God, it's getting toasty. Type of target, difficulty to cast, permanency. Actually, type of target, difficulty to cast, permanency, area of effect, aim spells, additional domains. Fuck. What am I thinking of? Actually, semantic components. Actually, we can probably put in something like mandatory. Difficulty to cast, complexity to cast. Difficulty to cast, complexity to cast. I think these are good enough. So if we do something like this, And grab A to Z. Additional domains. So we want to do. Let's call a spade a spade. We're probably going to do something like this. So let's bring in you. So what you're going to be is additional domain. 0 additional domain. You know, pretty much main domain +1 +2 +3. No, we don't need additional domain. Area of effect. Area of effect. Which area of effect is going to be a single? It's going to be a single target. It's going to be single, pretty much a single entity. It's going to be 0. It's going to be free, effectively. Duo, group, area. Which duo is going to be? We're going to increase it by 4. A group of people is going to be 6. An area is going to be 10. A single. Actually, probably do that. We hit 8. The 2 entities are the target of the spell. Multiple entities are the target of the spell. Everyone in the area is a target of the spell. You know, I'm just gonna delete this table for now. Chain spells, chain gun, chain spells, chain spells. Primary, secondary, tertiary, actually, we're gonna do, if we do the idea of a, actually, we delete that column, we delete that column, which we're going to do primary, additional definition, definitions, which is going to be 5, 0 primary, just using single definition. Using a single definition. Spell uses additional definitions as secondary effects toward the primary. That's how chain guns work. Like chain spells. A complexity to cast. This is where things are going to get a little bit wonky. So technically, right. This and that. Oh, no. That. This is like the worst way of like just kind of making this look correct. But do far do we go? We go all the way to 6. TN 6, difficulty of a spell. Merge. Together, chooses a skill. The headmaster. The headmaster chooses a skill. A development skill. That is most appropriate. And to successfully the wizard must beat a number of successes equal to let's see, beat a number of successes equal to equal to the target number and complexity, because the complexity only has 3, but since there's 6 here, what we're going to do is we're going to merge. This is actually, if we delete you, merge, which is we're going to do complexity 4 up, complexity 5 up, complexity we're actually going to do 4 up, 5 up, 6 up, 12. Put you up to 12. Don't look quite right, but maybe we do insert row above. We merge, insert a row above. Row. This isn't final, by the way. I just need to make sure that this actually looks the way that I'm imagining it in my head. So this would be difficulty, complexity. So if we're doing this correctly, this would be target number 6 is you need to score 6 successes to even attempt such a thing. So this would be 0. This would be 0, 5, and this would be -10. To give you an idea, you need to be pretty much expert level to be doing this. But it's a lot easier for you to cast, but you need to make a difficulty check. You need to make a difficulty check effectively on it to even attempt such a thing, which is going to be a lot harder for you. Use development skill most appropriate and cast a spell, where it's like, yeah, you don't have to pay any float for this. Hey, Notepad, would you live in a nuclear missile silo? I think that would be fine. See, I can't really say anything But like, I would feel weirdly comfortable like living in like really tiny places. I don't know why. Like, I feel pretty comfortable in like small spaces, even though I'm a very big person. I don't know why. Exactly. Like that would be too big for me, arguably. Be way too big. Let's see, difficulty class, mandatory objects, mandatory objects, tiny, small, large, huge, 0, -5, -10, -15. The object is palm size. The object is palm size. The object is person sized. Is person size. Like, it's a big object. You're not carrying, like, you gotta kind of get a friend to help you out with this. The object is massive and requires help. Move. Do something like this. Actually, one what would be some magic number? When in doubt, magic numbers. Tell me more about magic numbers. One, few dozen, many. Yeah, one, few dozen, many. One. A few, 2 to 6 are needed. A dozen, 12 to around 12, 12 to 15, around 12 to 15 object are needed. A few. Dozens, hundreds, or anything other dozens, hundreds, an inconvenient amount of objects are needed. It's kind of like, you need 1 egg to do this. All right, easy enough to do. I just need an egg to do it. You need a few eggs. I need like 3 eggs to do this well. You need a dozen eggs to do it. That's just kind of inconvenient. You need like 30 eggs to do this. What do you fucking mean 30 eggs? You're like, that's just very inconvenient amounts of, like, a very inconvenient amount. I think that's kind of the idea of many. You need many objects to do this thing. What we do is merge these together. We merge them together. Radiated, radiant. Permanent, no. Radiant, consumed. To merge, 0. The objects remain and can still be used. The objects are consumed by the spell. Yeah, you want to reduce it, you're going to need a small amount of objects. You need about a dozen small objects, and they're going to be consumed. That's going to be a -20 flow. You're going to make life a lot easier for yourself, but it's just you getting stuff. Again, these numbers aren't really final, but we're working on it. But we're working on it. Actually, what would you call injury that isn't injury? Like, it's complication, cock and ball torture. Oh, fuck. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. What am I thinking of? I want to, complications. No ouchie. No ouchie. Light ouchie. Medium ouchie. Severe ouchie. Dun, 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 something like this. Like this. Like, even just you're pretty. The idea being like you are taking like a notable injury by doing this. That's kind of the blood test. That's the blood tithe, effectively. You are taking an active injury by virtue of doing this. You can always do blood payment, but the idea is you don't want to do blood payment, because blood payment sucks. Permanency, which we're going to do instant. It's going to be instant. Instant is going to be followed by instant. It's going to be minutes, hours, days. Right. Days, weeks, months, permanent. spell's fired and immediately. So pretty much like you transform something, it's transformed, you don't have to worry about it again. But if you wanted to continue transforming, then spell lasts a few minutes. Spell lasts a few hours. Spell lasts a few days. Spell lasts a few weeks. Spell lasts months. Spell lasts months. The spell is a permanent. The spell is permanent. Spell is permanent. We're actually going to put that 20. Permanency. Which is going to do setup time. If we want to do setup time, we're going to actually use the same thing, but we're going to do setup time, but it's actually going to be the opposite. Instant, which is going to be -1, -2, -2, -3, -4, -5, and permanent. This requires a few hours to be ready. The spell requires days to be able to be used. The spell is taking weeks. Weeks to ferment and prepare. The spell is the spell has to what would be a good way? Has to Oof. Semantics. I got the right word here. Thematic. Actually, we'll have to do verbal and somatic. Shouting. No movement. You're not moving at all. Silent. You're silent casting. We want to do silent casting. Let's make this expensive. Like we do something like this, for example. If you're just dead silent casting, it's fairly expensive. To do it normally, it's going to be that. Whispers is going to be that. You can make it a little bit quiet. Shouting, on the other hand, is we're going to reduce it by 10 to make it look like this rough. Actually, if we want to do it, maybe we do, what would be, like, the idea would be, like, hands, and this is, like, full fucking body. Like, you are doing fucking jazzercise. Like, you're not moving at all. You don't need to move at all. You are just using your hands to kind of do something. It's pretty much like you're just doing, like, you're talking with your hands effectively. I'm, enunciating that I want to do that. It's the fucking, it's the Naruto bullshit. That's the idea. You're doing fucking hand signs. It's like, haha, I've done my Naruto attack. What would be, how would you describe something being like, it's requiring pretty much like your full, like the full torso, you're doing like movements and stuff. Like it's a clear like movements, while full body is like very huge. Like it's taking you a lot of time. It's very difficult for you to actually do this, and you are not being subtle at all. You can kind of say like this is the subtlety department. Like you are not being subtle at all if you're doing this. Like you are like actively like having to do shit. I don't know how I want to do this. Like I guess we would I don't know what else to call it, but I'm just gonna call it jazzercise for right now. Because that's kind of what it is. It's jazzercise. Inanimate, actually, no, it's, inanimate, unconscious life, conscious life, intelligent life. Intelligent life. We have discovered intelligent life. And it's fucking pissed. What did I note on magical creatures? Did I not put that in here? I don't think I did. But if I wanted to do this correctly, it would be normal. It would be normal individuals. It would be normal individuals. Mystic individual. It would be magical creature. It would be magical creatures. Magical creatures, not magical creatures. False magical creatures. Demons, devils, and all that shit. And then divine. The idea being standard humans don't cost anything to influence outside of it being intelligent life. Magical creatures, you're going to take a -5. It's going to be 5 on. False magical creatures is going to be a lot more expensive. Actually, -10. This would be -10. This would be 10. Conscious life would be 5. So to give you an idea, inanimate is like a rock. Unconscious life is like plants. Conscious life are animals. Intelligent life are people. Or thinking entities. Do you have sentience? If that is the case, then it's like standard humans are here. I'm gonna have to put, it'd be like humans and younger wizards. Humans and younger wizards. Pretty much people below your power level, you don't gotta worry with. Any magical creature kind of falls into this category. It's a lot, they're a little bit more complicated to influence, but not as much actually. False magical creatures are like demons and devils and nightmare creatures. They operate on a different wavelength than you, so they're false magical creatures. Stronger wizards are outright going to be very fucking hard for you. Older wizards. Mm, mm. They're going to be a little bit more hard to influence. Like, to do that, that's 25. Like, or it's going to be more expensive. I don't really know how I want to do this. Yeah, go sleep and then, rest. Hey, Notepad, did you say in this world your typical magic is underground thing normal people don't know about? Less secret or more open. It is... The thing is, magic is a thing that the wizarding world knows about, but magic is not really like a known thing among like regular. Nobody believes in magic. And the thing is, like with wizards is they can use magic to do things, but they're too busy not trying to get fucked over. Because the big thing is, you can be like, I am Dinkmaticus, and I have the power of wizard magic to kill you. And then it's just like, yeah, I'm Bill, I have a gun, and then you get shot and die. It's like, wizard bullshit doesn't really do much if... Like, it's just not as efficient. Like, what are you going to do? Rule over everyone as a wizard king? That doesn't... You can't be everywhere at once. You're still fallible like a human. You are still very fallible. Not hard for, like, advanced wizards to deal with that, but it's like, why would they give a shit? Like, if you're an old wizard, you just don't care that much. Like, why would you? Like, there's no reason for you to care at that actual point. It's like, why would I ever want to rule over people? That's boring as shit. I've got better things to do. I want to research. My feet hurt. I want to stay in my wizard tower. I want to be like... It's kind of like, yeah, these people can technically rule the world if they feel like, but why in God's holy name would you want to? That sounds hard, complicated, and I will probably get poison in my drink. I don't want poison in my... Because it's like, yes, I have longevity spells. I can live forever. It's like, yeah, you can live forever because you just stop aging yourself. However, it's like, yeah, you stop being able to age. However, you can still get shot. Like, you can still die. Like, let's see, everyone's getting my mom's getting concerned about the smoke coming down, which it's getting worse down over here, by the way. It's not as bad as it was in New York though. Jesus. Okay, so here are all the modifiers. I will probably write in the rest of these, but yeah, we're pretty much done with the modifiers. I know what I need to... The thing is, like, I know what I need to, like, put in for it. That makes sense. I know what I need to write. It's just writing it. That I'm a little bit like, oh boy, time to organize things. I'm gonna call it here though. I will probably... The plan is I'm going to fix up this section and get it into a decent place. Make sure it looks pretty. And on Friday, we're going to pretty much go ham on these three things right here. That's the plan. We're just going to sit down. We're going to do as much as we can for all of these. But yeah, I think we're doing pretty good. So I'm going to call it there. Godspeed. Good luck. Have a wonderful rest of your night. Hope you all have a great time. See you tonight. No, not tonight. See you tomorrow. Not tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow. All right. Time to